Hey, my fellow Raccoon City survivors, tall vampire lady survivor, VatiWah here, and you ever wonder what is underneath Lady Dimitrescu's white stained dress? Well, find out at the end of this video. But anyways, we have IGCS Camera Mod by OtisINF, and this will allow you to explore and take screenshots of Resident Evil Village that you cannot really otherwise do. So I will show you quickly how to use the camera mod, and then, what kind of things that you can do with it. Alrighty, so we have the nitty gritty stuff. So the first thing you want to do is you want to download and extract the files of the camera mod into a folder of your choice. It doesn't really matter where or what you name it. So you start up the Resident Evil Village game, and then you alt tab and go back to the folder and click on the IGCS client exe. Now with the game running, you inject the DLL, and that should activate the camera mod. Alright, so let's go take a quick gander at the settings before we go into the game. So hot sampling allows you to kind of, take screenshots at higher resolutions than what you're playing at on your native monitor. Configuration section is pretty much where you can change like how fast the camera will move around. So, up and down, sideways, rotating and whatnot. The image adjustments, you can kind of, disable the depth of field, the blurriness that occurs in the background. And interestingly, you can control how fast the game speed is, so you can make it go as fast or as slow as you want. Now the key bindings is where you can see what keys does what, and you can change them to your liking if you want. Oh, there is also a section for the controller, so yeah, these, the key bindings is pretty important to know what the mod does. Now I have a Xbox controller specifically to use for cameras. I've been using it for Skyrim, but I also use it for Resident Evil sometimes. And then the theme right here changes how the menu looks. This is not terribly too important. And oh, by the way, yeah, this is a paid mod. I will post a link in the video description below if you're interested. Alrighty, so that's out of the way. Let's alt tab back into the game, shall we? Let's take this baby for a spin, shall we? Okay, so let's go take a gander at what this mod can do. So when I press the enter key on the keypad, I can freeze the game. And then I press the insert button, and that activates the free camera mode to move the camera around. And yeah, it looks like Ethan is headless when you're looking at him from like outside it looking in, third person or whatever you want to call it. Okay, so, oh yes, now the fun part. So let's go find Lady Dimitrescu, shall we? Now, where is that beautiful tall vampire lady? I'm sure she's wandering around, right? Oh, there she is. Hey, okay, so the same thing, you press enter to freeze the game, and then you use the insert to move the camera around, move it however I want, whatever angle, however zoomed in. And oh, and then with the page down button, I can move the game a few frames at a time, so I could kind of move it forward a few frames at a time. You cannot move it backwards. That doesn't work. This function works for in-game and in cutscenes. So that pesky shotgun crosshair that you see, I can hide it by pressing the N key on my keyboard. I can hide the HUD. So the HUD is pretty much things like any crosshairs, any text, any waypoints, any kind of a mouse cursor. It hides all that so you have like a clean screenshot or footage. Most people will be using the mouse and keyboard to move the camera around, which is fine for screenshotting purposes. Now, for those that have like a, controller or a gamepad to plug into your desktop computer or laptop or whatever, you can kind of do like panning shots and move the camera around a little bit more smoothly, so it looks very, very professional. Now, the camera mod works for cutscenes like when Ethan, for example, Ethan's getting attacked by a bunch of dolls, like, Sid being attacked by mutant toys in Toy Story. Pretty similar, right? Or the scene right before all the villagers get slaughtered because they let Ethan and this wounded guy in, the old guy in, I forgot his name. Pretty much everyone that Ethan runs into dies if they're like innocent. If they're like a side character that doesn't really matter, they pretty much die. He's like the Grim Reaper. There are definitely plenty of other scenes to look at. Now, sometimes you can see weird things or glitches, like for example, Lady Dimitrescu's reflection is not really her real reflection, since the reflection is not wearing the same thing as, the lovely lingerie that she's wearing right now. Plus, when you move the camera around, you can kind of see like the angles all weird and whatnot. Okay, so let's go follow her in the bathroom, shall we? Wherever she's going, maybe get some of that bath water and sell that stuff. Now, okay, so she's a vampire and a ghost. Alright, so she walked through the wall, and okay, yeah, must be kind of chilly out here standing in the hallway. I mean, come on. She's standing in a hallway in the dark in lingerie. Must be damn cold. Resident Evil Village does look pretty impressive when looking at the background, like the snowy background. You can kind of see Moreau's windmill, you can kind of see Heisenberg's factory in the background pretty far away, and we can see Dimitrescu's castle. However, I didn't really get to see Benevieto's manor, you know, the crazy dolls, the creepy doll place. And speaking of Heisenberg's factory, I really want to see like the rest of the main room, you know, that big cavern. So let's go fly towards the soldiers that are being made for Heisenberg's army right there. The army that Heisenberg kind of wants to use to overthrow and defeat Mother Miranda, because, you know, Heisenberg doesn't like her. You know, I think he calls her a bitch. These guys right here kind of reminds me of Hans Volter from Killing Floor 2.
I shall exterminate you. It will be a simple test for my suit.
Here we go. Now let's go take a, you know, gander underneath Lady Dimitrescu's dress. Oh man, come on, there's nothing underneath here, come on. Now it seems like they didn't really model a body for Lady Dimitrescu. We have to depend on mod makers to make one for her. And hold on here, wait a moment, is that what I think it is? It is! oh boy, I cannot believe that they made like a cleavage and underboob model for Lady Dimitrescu here. It's not like we get to see any part of the bottom part right there, right? I'm glad they make it. I'm glad they made it. So anyways, I think that's it for this episode of Resident Evil Village mod review of the IGCS Camera Mod. Now, I think I might make some videos where we kind of, you know, where we're going to take a look at some cutscenes or areas to see if there are any secrets or glitches or anything cool like that. I'm thinking of making some videos like that. If you have any suggestions, let me know in the comment section below. You know, I wish I can show more in this video, and as I mentioned, this is a paid mod, it's a Patreon mod, and I have posted a link in the video description below, you know, the link to the IGCS Camera Mod if you are interested. Now, if you are interested, message the mod out there on Patreon, and, you know, if you do become his patron and tell him VatiWah sent you, I think we both will be pretty pleased, yes indeed. Well then, stay sexy my friends, stay sexy.